welcome to lesson 75 on changing improper fractions to whole or mixed numbers. So this lesson, once you know what to do, is actually a lot of fun. What you need to know is pretty much all the fractions we've looked at so far have been called proper fractions. Proper fractions are less than 1. Okay, like 1/2, 1/4. Anytime the numerator is smaller than the denominator, it is a proper fraction. We also have something called improper fractions. Improper fractions are greater than or equal to 1. So 4/4 is considered an improper fraction. 6/4 is considered an improper fraction. And if the numerator is bigger than the denominator, then we have an improper fraction. And we're going to learn how to rewrite them as either mixed numbers or whole numbers. All right? So first of all, let's just look at some examples of what I'm talking about here. So if I had a number less than 1, that would be like 1/2, right? Which is not an entire whole, or 1/6, or 2/3. You could have 7/8. Any of these numbers would be considered proper fractions because the numerator is smaller than the denominator. What are some fractions that equal 1? Well, you could have 5/5 or 3/3. A fraction is equal to 1 if the numerator is the same as the denominator. So that would simplify to just 1. And some examples of fractions greater than 1 would be like 4/3 or 11/9 or 21/2. All of these are considered improper fractions, and actually so are these. So these ones are improper and these ones are proper. If you end up with an answer that has an improper fraction, we will always make the answer into a mixed number or a proper fraction. So if this said 2 7/8, that would be considered a mixed number, which is a type of proper fraction. All right, let's jump into the examples. Make a mixed number by dividing. That's how you go from an improper fraction to a proper fraction. So this is saying that I have 8 parts out of when it takes 3 to make a whole. So the way that I'm going to figure out what mixed number that is I'm going to divide. And this top number, the first number, we read it 8 divided by 3. So this is going to fall into the house. The top number always goes in the house. So 3 goes into 8 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. And so I bring my remainder up here and I use the divisor as the denominator. And so my final answer is 2 and 2/3. Okay, try example B on your own and show me that you know how to do that simple process. Now here's a spot where we might need to apply what we just learned. So let's say that we're adding 3/5 and 4/5. I'm going to start by adding right across the numerators. So 3 plus 4, since they have the same denominator, is 7/5. And now I notice my numerator is bigger than my denominator. It's an improper fraction. I need to make it a mixed number. So I'm going to divide 7 by 5. It goes in 1 time. It has a remainder of 2. And the denominator is my divisor. So my answer is 1 2/5 instead of 7/5. Go ahead and try example D on your own. It's the same type of step. All right, now let's take this even one step further. What about if I'm adding multiple mixed numbers? All right, so these aren't just fractions, I'm adding mixed numbers. Well, when I add mixed numbers, I like to do it by lining them up vertically. So we'll do 2 1/2, 2 1/2, 2 1/2. And then the first thing I'm going to do is add up the fractions. So they all already have the same denominator. I don't need to do this and give them a common denominator. So I'm going to add my numerators 1 2 3. So I get 3/2. And then I have 2 4, 6 for my whole number. So right now I have 6 and 3 seconds, although, or 3 halves, but there's a problem here because my numerator is bigger than my denominator, so I need to make this into a mixed number. So 2 goes into 3, and really, don't be afraid to write it out this way. Eventually you'll just be able to do these in your head, but 2 goes into 3 one time, 1 left over 2, so I'm going to get 1 and 1/2. And now my last step is to add the whole number we have here with this whole number. And so our final answer is 7 and 1/2. Okay, did you catch all those steps? I started with my fractions. I got an improper fraction. You make it into a mixed number, and then you add that to the total whole numbers that you're working with. Sometimes people do this step, and then take that 1 and bring it up here, and then add their whole numbers. Because this could be a 3 or a 4. You can do that then, or you can add them down to your 6 and then just add across your whole numbers. All right. Try example F on your own, which is very similar to the problem we just did. Now G, here's the last one we're going to do together. This says, what is the perimeter of a square with sides 3.5 inches long? So to find the perimeter, I'm going to add all the lengths of the sides. We know that it's a square and that they all are 3.5 inches. I really could multiply this number by 4, but since this lesson is on adding, we're going to do it that way. So I have 3 and 1/2, 3 and 1/2, 3 and 1/2, 3 and 1/2. Sorry guys, it was off the screen. So I added up my numerators, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I put it over the denominator of 2. I divided it out and I got 2. And now I took this number and I brought it up here to add it because it's a whole number. And so I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. And so my answer is 14. I completely eliminated the fractions because I ended up with an improper fraction that equaled 2 more wholes. All right, so that's all the types of problems you're going to see in this lesson. Go ahead and do those ones on your own, and I will see you tomorrow. Get to work.